Well, whatever figure it is, Nigerians will still be feeling some anger in their belly as far as these figures are concerned. You can be forking out this amount of money every year when you have 4 refineries. So that brings us the refineries, whether it is co-location, whether it was rehabilitation, whether it is sale, whether it is privatization or concession. A lot of mind-boggling terminologies and adjectives to qualify this. Where are we as far as this is concerned? Let's start with rehabilitation.
Okay, good. So we're currently going through trying to get for the repair work that needs to be done on the refineries. And I think that's part of what Kachukwu particularly held that press briefing yesterday, was to explain to the public that the Senate decided to stop the concessioning of the refinery to Oando and ENI. And he had to try and do that press briefing to explain to this program coming back in 2016, and we got the presidential approval as well to start talking to people so that we can get money from them. They will not own the refinery. All they will do is provide funds to the refinery.
Dolapo, we apologize. That connection via Skype is a little bit patchy. The audio there is coming a little bit fluctuating, not very good for our viewers who are interested in getting a very clear audio of what we are seeing in those perspectives. But we appreciate all of that. We're trying to get that back up and running. But let's get the timelines back for you as far as the refineries are concerned. This was part of what the junior oil minister, Dr. Kachukwu, says yesterday. Says in May last year, a deal was reached between the National Assembly and the Bureau of Public Enterprises on the rehabilitation of the 4 refineries, but that process or that deal was not prejudicial to the fact that there will still be future privatization plans by the Nigerian government, which will be subject to the authority of the federal government. But as the managers, which is the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, they have the right to rehabilitate the refineries and make sure they work. So that's, he says, that was what was done in May last year. Then he went on to say that in October, down the line of the year, just in the final quarter, the NNPC secured a presidential approval to engage credible financiers to redo the rehabilitation and improve the state of the refineries. He said that was done, and they were looking at possible partners to get this done. And one of them was Ajib, which is now being named in the news all around the Port Harcourt refinery, and that the original builders of these refineries will be invited for the repair since they were the original construction folks. Then, as far as the co-location of refineries, smaller refineries within the existing 4, Dr. Kachukwu told the media that a public tender was announced in April last year, and bids were received from oil services companies who want to engage in this. These bids were analyzed, and the winners were identified for Port Harcourt refinery. He didn't state exactly who these firms were. That was not contained in this report in the media. He says, but discussions are still ongoing to finalize with the NNPC Board of Directors and the Federal Executive Council to get approval, which means that the National Assembly, about a week ago, saying that NNPC, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, should stay action on the Port Harcourt refinery were actually in order because the Federal Executive Council has not given approval. Now, this went into the news as to who will be repairing or rehabilitating the Port Harcourt refinery and whether it has been concessioned or sold. Now, one of the companies involved, Oando Nigeria PLC, listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange yesterday, issued his own statement stating that that has not been done and that the facilities are still in the hands of the Nigerian government. That much we know as we speak. So the state of the refinery is still there. We apologize, Dolapo will not be able to get back to you. The Skype connection still a little bit patchy. Downtown Lagos to uptown where we are. We do apologize, Dolapo. Do have a great weekend. I'm sure you're still watching the show. Thank you very much, and our viewers there. Sorry we put that connection down. We'll not be able to continue with that. Let's go back to one big news that came in Couple of hours ago, overnight, Nigeria's productivity level for the fourth quarter last year, Nigeria's productivity increases despite recession in the economy last year. The report says this was the highest level since the first quarter of last year, relatively on the back of relatively stable electricity. The Statistics Office says the labor productivity growth that Nigeria reported in the last 3 months of 2016 implies a gradual increase in labor efficiency employed in the economy, meaning that Nigerians are employing more ways of being productive within an economy that is in recession or contraction and higher unemployment. So the fewer folks that are on the jobs were employing more efficiency in production. So that was what happened. And the key drivers were agriculture, posting the highest growth, 3.39% on the harvest season, and transportation and creative sectors. And of course, in Naira and Kobo terms, productivity was higher at 783 Naira, 51 Kobo, or $2.57, vis-a-vis or against 713 Kobo, 77 Kobo reported in the end of third quarter, which was September. Productivity was up 9.8% on a quarterly basis and 10.8% higher on a year-on-year basis. Nigerians on the jobs worked estimated total hours higher by 0.48% in the fourth quarter. That's the final 3 months of 2016. We're back after the break. We have a lot more to talk about, giving lifelines to the executive order deadlines that was given by the acting president. And we have a port operations specialist who will be taking us through what has been happening and what more we expect and we should see along the port's operations. That's next.